Hi guys, welcome back. Okay, so this is my parkour earthbending animation if you haven't seen it yet already. And I've had a few requests for kind of my workflow and just what I do to make these animations. So I started with the original clip, and this is a clip by Ed Scott, who's a freerunner on Storm Freerun. And I knew I wanted to do something earthbending with those pillars. So first thing I do is take it into my editing software, and if I'm rotoscoping, which is basically tracing, I do a sketch outline of the athlete or whoever I'm animating frame by frame, like you saw there. And it looks just like this very faint outline, no details, no clothing really, just like fast marks. You want to get it mapped out as quickly as possible to get their movements down so you can draw over that later. And you can also draw from reference if you don't want to rotoscope. Rotoscoping is a lot faster, but less creative, I guess. So then I go back over the rotoscope sketch in a new layer, and I draw the figure over it. So you want to capture the same movements, but give the details like what clothing you want them to wear, the musculature of your character. If you want to add something that wasn't in the original, now is your time to do that. So I'm doing the earthbender outfit, which is like a little belt and a kilt type thing, shoes, armbands, making sure I get a good musculature in there. And yeah, just do that frame by frame over the sketch. So I have this character that's running. Next up are the pillars that the earthbender is pulling up to run on. So I just traced the existing pillars that he was doing the stride challenge on. So they were fully extended when his foot meets the pillar, but then once his foot leaves, I broke them off, drawing little triangles to show shards or some kind of breaking down like that. And I only traced each pillar up part ways until the final moment where it meets his foot, so it looks like they're coming out of the ground to meet him, because I wanted the earthbender to be running through the air and just summoning up these pillars to do the stride challenge on. So this is what the final pen version looks like. Again, all the pens on one layer, different from the sketching layer, and we're not going to need the sketching layer again. We're ready for color. So the first layer I use is kind of my color palette. I figure out all the different colors I want, color that one completely before I move on to the other layers, and I just used an earthbender for reference, different green tones, and then Ed Scott's skin tone to color the character. And then once I do that, I pick one particular color and I do just that color for the rest of the frames, so I don't have to constantly switch colors. So in this case it's like a black, and I did all the other frames in black and then move on to the next color and the next color and color them all that way. For these earth pillars, I looked at the ones from Avatar: The Last Airbender for reference, and I do a light color on one side and then a darker brown color on the other side to add kind of this lighting and shading, make it more complex. And I do the same thing for these characters here. Now that they're all colored, I add just a darker shade of each color to show like the light source. So I'm putting them on that right side where the pillars are shaded too. This is what it looks like with shading. You can see it just really like finalizes the whole thing. Added a horizon line and then just use the paint bucket to do the sky and the ground. Happy with how this turned out. I hope this was helpful for those of you who had questions, and let me know if there's anything else you want to see.